In the heart of winter, when the world is blanketed in a soft layer of snow, what if you found a place where time stands still, where the chaos of life melts away like snowflakes on a warm hand? A place where the gentle rustle of pine trees whispers secrets to the night, and the only light comes from a flickering fire and the glow of the moon? Nestled within a tranquil forest clearing was a quaint cottage, its wooden beams kissed by frost and its windows aglow with warmth. This was not just any cottage, it was a sanctuary, a refuge from the bustling city, where the air was crisp and the only sounds were the soft crunch of snow underfoot and the distant call of owls. The towering pine trees stood like silent sentinels, guarding this little haven, their branches heavy with snow, creating a picturesque winter wonderland. Inside this inviting space was Evelyn, a warm-hearted woman in her late 30s who had arrived seeking solace. She had left behind the noise and clamor of her busy city life, hoping to find clarity and peace during her weekend retreat. Evelyn's chestnut hair, slightly tousled, framed her gentle face as she gazed out the window, watching the snowflakes dance in the moonlight. There was a calmness about her, though her heart felt heavy with the burdens she carried. The weight of her responsibilities loomed like the dark clouds that often overshadowed the sun. As she stepped into the cozy living room, the crackling of the fire welcomed her like an old friend. Her fingers brushed against the smooth wooden mantel, adorned with small trinkets that told stories of their own. Each piece whispered of memories made, laughter shared, and moments cherished. The warm glow of the fire flickered against the walls, casting playful shadows that intertwined with the soft golden light. Evelyn sank into the plush armchair, a knitted blanket draped over her lap, and closed her eyes for a moment. In this space, she longed to escape the demands of her job, the endless deadlines, and the ever-present sense of urgency. She sought to reconnect with herself, to breathe deeply and listen to the quiet voice within that had been drowned out by the noise of the world. But the stillness was punctuated by the nagging thoughts of her responsibilities. The city, with its relentless pace, felt like a distant echo, yet it was all too easy to let those echoes invade her peaceful retreat. A gentle sigh escaped her lips, the weight of guilt tugging at her heart. How could she take time for herself when there was so much to do? The internal conflict swirled within her, mixing with the serene atmosphere of the cottage. Just then, the soft sound of footsteps on the porch drew her attention. It was Oliver, the cottage's owner, a retired schoolteacher in his 60s with a calming presence that had a way of putting others at ease. He had welcomed Evelyn with a warm smile, his twinkling eyes reflecting a lifetime of wisdom and kindness. Now he stood at the door, his silhouette framed by the warm light of the cottage. "Evelyn," he called softly, "I've made us some tea. Why don't you join me by the fire?" His voice, like a gentle breeze, wrapped around her, coaxing her from her thoughts. With a smile, she rose and followed him to the small kitchen nook, where the kettle whistled, releasing a fragrant steam that filled the air. The scent of chamomile and honey danced around them, a soothing balm for her restless mind. As they settled by the fire, the flickering flames casting a warm embrace around them, Evelyn felt the tension in her shoulders begin to melt away. They sipped their tea in comfortable silence, the only sounds being the gentle crackling of the fire and the soft patter of snowflakes against the window. It was a moment of pure tranquility, a pause in time that felt almost sacred. "Tell me, what brings you here?" Oliver inquired, his voice a gentle invitation to share. Evelyn hesitated, the words tangled in her throat. "I just needed a break. Everything back home feels overwhelming," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I thought maybe I could find some clarity here." Oliver nodded knowingly, his expression one of understanding. "Sometimes it's in the stillness that we find our answers. Nature has a way of reminding us of what truly matters." As the evening wore on, Evelyn felt the warmth of the cottage wrap around her like a comforting embrace. The initial conflict of her thoughts began to ease, replaced by the gentle rhythm of the night. Outside, the moon cast a silvery glow upon the snow-covered landscape, turning the world into a dazzling display of light and shadow. Evelyn closed her eyes for a moment, allowing herself to be lulled by the soothing sounds of the forest. The wind whispered through the trees, a soft lullaby that beckoned her to let go of her worries and simply be. In this peaceful sanctuary, surrounded by the beauty of nature, she felt a flicker of hope igniting within her, a promise that perhaps, just perhaps, she could find the peace she so desperately sought. And so, as the snow continued to fall softly outside, Evelyn settled deeper into her chair, her heart beginning to open to the possibilities of this gentle night. In this quaint, snow-covered cottage, she was not just a visitor, she was a part of the tranquil tapestry of life that unfolded under the watchful gaze of the stars. As the twilight deepened into a starry night, Evelyn settled into her cozy nook beside the fireplace. The flames danced merrily, their flickering light casting soft shadows across the walls of the cottage, while the scent of burning wood filled the air like a comforting hug. Wrapped in a thick knitted blanket, she took a moment to breathe deeply, allowing the warmth to envelop her. The crackling of the fire was a gentle reminder of the world outside, where snowflakes continued to drift down like whispers from the heavens. Each flake, unique and delicate, embraced the earth, transforming the landscape into a shimmering wonderland. Evelyn gazed out the window, captivated by the way the moonlight spilled over the snow, illuminating the trees that stood sentinel in the night. The beauty felt almost surreal, a stark contrast to the fast-paced life she had left behind. Yet, even amidst this tranquility, a storm brewed within her. The busyness of her life in the city seeped into her thoughts, uninvited and insistent. Images of deadlines and meetings flashed before her eyes, as if they were shadows lurking just beyond the warm glow of the cottage. She felt guilt tugging at her heart, a persistent reminder that she had responsibilities waiting for her, a life demanding her attention. The simple act of taking a break felt almost foreign, tainted by a sense of unworthiness. How could she justify this retreat when there was so much left undone? Just then, the soft creaking of the floorboards interrupted her reverie. Oliver entered the room, his presence a calming balm. With a gentle smile, he carried a steaming cup of herbal tea, the aroma wafting through the air, inviting and soothing. "I thought you might like something warm," he said, his voice the gentle caress against her worries. "Thank you, Oliver," Evelyn replied, accepting the cup with both hands. The warmth seeped into her palms, grounding her in the moment. She took a sip, the herbal blend bursting with hints of chamomile and honey, its sweetness wrapping around her like the blanket that cocooned her. "Tell me, how are you finding the cottage?" Oliver asked, settling into the chair across from her. His eyes sparkled with kindness, and Evelyn felt a sense of ease washing over her. "It's beautiful," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "But I can't shake this feeling of guilt for being here." Oliver nodded knowingly, as if he had heard this sentiment before. "It's easy to feel that way. The world has a way of making us believe that we must always be productive, always be doing. But sometimes the most important thing we can do is to simply be." His words hung in the air, and Evelyn pondered their meaning. She reflected on the countless hours spent chasing after goals, the endless to-do lists that never seemed to dwindle. In this moment, surrounded by the warmth of the fire and the tranquility of the cottage, she began to understand the importance of pausing, of allowing herself the grace to rest. As the two continued to converse, Oliver shared stories from his days as a schoolteacher, his voice weaving a tapestry of memories filled with laughter and lessons learned. He spoke of the children he had taught, their bright eyes full of wonder, and the joy of watching them discover their passions. Each story painted vivid pictures in Evelyn's mind, igniting a spark of nostalgia. She remembered the thrill of learning something new, the excitement of curiosity, and the joy of connection. Yet, as Oliver spoke, the sound of the wind outside began to pick up, rustling the branches of the pine trees. It carried with it a chill that seeped into the cottage, a reminder of the world outside. Evelyn glanced toward the window. The snowfall had intensified, transforming the landscape into a fluffy white blanket that seemed to muffle the sounds of the forest. "Looks like we're in for a heavy snowfall tonight," Oliver remarked, breaking her thoughts. "It can be quite mesmerizing to watch, the way it covers everything, erasing the world for a moment, allowing us to start fresh." Evelyn felt a pang of anxiety at the thought of being cut off from the outside world, her responsibilities pressing against her mind like a weight. A small part of her wanted to retreat to the familiar chaos of her life, while another part ached to stay in this serene cocoon, if only to discover what she truly needed. "Do you think I should go back soon?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "What if I can't return to the city for days?" Oliver's gaze softened, and he leaned back in his chair, contemplating her question. "Sometimes the universe has a way of guiding us to where we need to be, even if we don't understand it at first. Perhaps this snowfall is a sign for you to stay a little longer, to embrace the stillness and reflect on what you truly want." As she listened to him, Evelyn felt a flicker of hope. What if she allowed herself to simply be here? What if she could embrace the quiet and rediscover parts of herself that had been buried under the weight of obligation? The fire crackled, the storm raged outside, but inside, Evelyn felt a warmth growing within her, a sense of possibility. She took another sip of her tea, savoring the moment, and looked up at Oliver, who was now sharing a particularly funny story about a mischievous student. Suddenly, laughter filled the room, and with it, a sense of community blossomed. In that instant, Evelyn felt a connection not only to Oliver, but to the very essence of life itself. It wasn't just about her. It was about the stories we share and the moments we cherish. As the night unfolded, Oliver's stories wrapped around her like a comforting blanket. The sound of the wind howling outside faded, replaced by the warmth of laughter and shared reflections. Yet, as the hours passed, her inner turmoil continued to bubble beneath the surface, the conflict between her desires and obligations still unresolved. But perhaps, in this moment of stillness, she could begin to explore her feelings without the pressures of the outside world weighing her down. She could learn to find peace within herself, even amidst uncertainty. As the fire began to dwindle, casting long shadows across the room, Evelyn felt a sense of gratitude wash over her. She had taken a step away from her hectic life, and though it was fraught with guilt and worries, it was also filled with potential for growth and understanding. Just as she was about to voice her thoughts, Oliver's eyes twinkled with an idea. "How about we take a little stroll outside? The snowfall is magical, and I think you'll find it's quite peaceful under the stars." Evelyn hesitated, the thought of stepping into the cold, harsh winter air sending a shiver down her spine. Yet the allure of the snowy landscape, coupled with Oliver's gentle encouragement, stirred a sense of adventure within her. "All right, let's go," she said, her voice steadier than she felt. They bundled up in warm coats and scarves, the fabric feeling heavy against her skin. Stepping outside, Evelyn was immediately enveloped by the crisp air, a stark contrast to the warmth of the cottage. The world around her was transformed. The snow-covered ground sparkled under the moonlight, creating a dreamlike landscape that felt both enchanting and serene. As they walked, the soft crunch of snow underfoot accompanied their steps. Evelyn looked up at the sky, where countless stars twinkled like diamonds against a velvet backdrop. It was as if the universe was watching over her, inviting her to let go of her worries and simply be. Oliver stopped to admire the view, his breath visible in the cold night air. "Isn't it beautiful?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Evelyn nodded, her heart swelling with appreciation for the moment.
"It really is," she replied, allowing the stillness to wash over her. Here, among the trees and the snow, she felt a sense of connection to something greater than herself, a reminder that she was part of this beautiful tapestry of life. But as they continued to walk, Evelyn's thoughts crept back in, uninvited. What would happen when she returned to her life? Would she be able to carry this sense of peace with her? Or would the weight of her responsibilities drag her back into the chaos? Oliver, sensing her unease, turned to her with a knowing smile. Sometimes we hold on to our worries so tightly that we forget to let them go. It's important to create space for stillness and reflection, even when life seems overwhelming. His words resonated deeply within her, and for the first time that evening, she felt a flicker of hope. Maybe she didn't have to carry the weight of the world on her shoulders. Maybe she could learn to embrace moments of quietude amidst the chaos. As they walked back toward the cottage, Evelyn took a deep breath, inhaling the fresh, crisp air. She felt lighter, as if each step was shedding the burdens she had carried for so long. The snowfall continued to blanket the earth, a reminder that even in the coldest of winters, there is beauty and renewal to be found. With a renewed sense of determination, Evelyn knew she had the power to create change in her life, to carve out moments of peace amidst the noise.
And as they stepped back inside the warmth of the cottage, she felt a sense of gratitude swell within her, a recognition that this journey was just beginning. As the fire crackled softly and the snow continued to fall, Evelyn made a silent promise to herself. No matter what awaited her outside the cottage, she would carry the lessons learned and the peace found within these walls into her everyday life. And so, as the night deepened and the world outside lay silent under a blanket of snow, Evelyn found herself enveloped in a sense of calm, a reminder that sometimes the greatest adventure lies in taking the time to pause, breathe, and simply be. As you listen to this story, take a moment to reflect on your own life. Allow yourself to embrace the stillness, to find peace in the chaos. And remember, it's okay to pause and take care of yourself, for in those moments of quiet, you may discover the answers you've been seeking. If you've enjoyed this journey into the snowy cottage, consider subscribing to our channel for more peaceful stories that guide you to serenity. Your presence here is a gift, and we hope to continue sharing moments of tranquility with you. Now, let your thoughts drift away, and let the night carry you to gentle dreams. As the night deepened, the snowfall intensified, shrouding the world outside in a thick, white blanket. The cottage, with its warm glow spilling through windows, stood as a beacon of comfort amidst the swirling snowflakes. Inside, the crackling fireplace sent gentle sparks into the air, as if the flames were dancing to a soothing melody only they could hear. Evelyn sat curled up in a plush chair, a soft throw blanket draped over her legs. She gazed into the fire, watching the flickering light reflect in her eyes. It was a moment of quiet introspection, yet her mind was a storm of conflicting thoughts. The weight of her responsibilities tugged at her heart. Images of her bustling city life flashed before her, the ringing phone, the endless emails, the deadlines looming like dark clouds. Each thought was a snowflake, delicate yet heavy, swirling around her in a chaotic flurry. Feeling restless, she stood and walked to the window. The sight outside was enchanting, the trees cloaked in white, their branches glistening under the moonlight, and the soft glow of the cottage contrasting with the cold, dark night. It was beautiful, yet it reminded her of the stark contrast to her own life, where beauty often felt like a distant memory, overshadowed by obligations. In that moment, she yearned for clarity, for a sense of purpose beyond the grind of everyday life. It was as if the universe had conspired to bring her here, to this snow-covered refuge, yet she struggled to fully embrace the peace it offered. With a soft sigh, she decided to step outside, to breathe in the cold air and let it wash over her, hoping it would clear her mind. As she opened the door, a gust of chill air enveloped her, sending a shiver down her spine. The crunch of snow beneath her boots was the only sound that accompanied her as she ventured into the serene night. She looked up at the stars, twinkling like diamonds scattered across a velvet sky, and felt a wave of calm wash over her. The world felt expansive, and for a fleeting moment, her worries seemed to fade into the background. In the distance, she spotted Oliver sitting on the porch, wrapped in a thick shawl, his breath visible in the cold air. He looked up as she approached, a gentle smile spreading across his face. "Beautiful, isn't it?" he said, gesturing to the snowy landscape around them. Evelyn nodded, her heart swelling with warmth at his presence. "It's breathtaking. But I feel lost. I can't seem to find my way back to myself," she confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. Oliver studied her for a moment, his eyes reflecting a deep understanding. "Sometimes we lose ourselves in the noise of life, but out here, in the quiet, we can find the pieces we thought were lost," he replied, his voice steady and reassuring. "Tell me, what weighs on your heart?" Evelyn took a deep breath, the cold air filling her lungs. "It's everything. My job, my responsibilities. I feel like I'm running on a treadmill, but I'm not getting anywhere. I came here to escape, but I'm still carrying that weight with me." Oliver nodded thoughtfully, the corners of his mouth turning down slightly as he listened. "It's easy to forget that our worth isn't tied to our productivity. Life isn't just about what we accomplish. It's about the moments we cherish, the connections we make, and the peace we find within ourselves." As he spoke, Evelyn felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. "But how do I let go of this guilt? I feel like I'm abandoning my duties." "Guilt is a heavy burden to carry," Oliver replied, his tone gentle yet firm. "But remember, taking time for yourself is not selfish. It's essential. You can't pour from an empty cup. You have to fill yourself first if you want to be there for others." His words resonated deeply within her, and she felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes. "I've spent so long trying to please everyone else, I forgot what it feels like to be kind to myself." "Let the snowflakes remind you," Oliver said, gesturing to the gentle flurry around them. "Each one is unique, beautiful in its own way, just as you are. Embrace your individuality, your dreams, and the simple joys of life. They are what truly matter." The weight on her heart began to lift as she absorbed his wisdom. She looked around, absorbing the beauty of the moment, the way the moonlight danced on the snow, the soft sound of falling flakes, and the warmth of Oliver's presence beside her. It was in this stillness she began to realize that she had the power to change her narrative. "I've always dreamed of painting," she said suddenly, her voice trembling with the excitement of the revelation. "But I never made time for it. I put it on the back burner, thinking it was just a hobby." "Then paint," Oliver encouraged, his eyes twinkling with understanding. "Let your heart express itself through your art. You owe it to yourself to explore that side of you." As she contemplated his words, a profound calm washed over her. She understood now that the fear of failure had held her captive for too long. The snow continued to fall softly around them, each flake a reminder of the beauty of letting go, of allowing things to simply be. In that moment, Evelyn felt a release, as if the chains of her self-imposed limitations had shattered. She looked at Oliver, gratitude swelling within her. "Thank you for being here, for listening. I think I needed this more than I realized." He smiled warmly, the lines on his face softening in the glow of the moonlight. "We all need someone to remind us of our worth. The journey of life is not meant to be walked alone." As they sat together in the tranquil night, a sense of connection blossomed, a reminder that sharing vulnerabilities can lead to healing. The snow continued to fall, wrapping the world in a soft cocoon. Evelyn closed her eyes, allowing the stillness to envelop her, feeling a renewed sense of purpose take root within her heart. But just as the night felt perfect, a distant rumble echoed through the forest, breaking the serene silence. Evelyn's heart raced as she glanced at Oliver, uncertainty flickering in her eyes. "What was that?" she asked, her voice tight. Oliver's expression turned serious, the warmth of the moment giving way to concern. "It's likely just the weight of the snow on the trees, but let's go check," he said, rising from his seat. As they approached the edge of the clearing, the ground beneath them trembled slightly, and the sound grew louder, a deep, ominous rumble that sent a chill down Evelyn's spine. The tranquility of the night shattered as a loud crack echoed through the air, followed by the sound of branches snapping. "Evelyn, step back!" Oliver shouted, pulling her away just as a heavy branch crashed down where they had been standing moments before. The force of it sent snow cascading around them, creating a flurry that obscured their view. Heart pounding, Evelyn clutched Oliver's arm, fear gripping her. "What's happening?" she cried, her voice trembling. "It seems the weight of the snow has caused some branches to break. We need to get back inside," Oliver urged, urgency in his voice. They hurried back to the cottage, snow swirling around them as they rushed through the door. Inside, the warmth enveloped them, but the reality of what had just transpired hung heavy in the air. Evelyn's breath came in quick gasps as she leaned against the wall, trying to steady herself. "I thought we were safe here," she whispered, her heart still racing. Oliver's expression softened as he placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "This cottage is a refuge, but nature is unpredictable. It reminds us to be mindful of our surroundings and to appreciate the beauty of the moment, even when it's fleeting." Evelyn nodded, the weight of his words settling in her heart. The turmoil she felt moments ago was now intertwined with a deeper understanding of life's fragility. She realized the importance of cherishing not just the calm moments, but also the unexpected challenges that shape her journey. As they sat by the fire once more, the crackling flames offering comfort, Evelyn felt a shift within her. She understood that embracing both the light and dark moments of life was essential to her growth. The snowfall outside continued, each flake unique and fleeting, just like the moments that made up her life. "Thank you, Oliver," she said softly, her voice steadying, "for reminding me that it's okay to pause, to breathe, and to embrace whatever comes my way." Oliver smiled, his eyes reflecting a deep wisdom. "Always remember, Evelyn, it's in the quiet moments of reflection that we find our true selves. Embrace this journey with an open heart, and you'll find the peace you seek." And as the night wore on, with the snow gently falling outside, Evelyn felt a newfound sense of clarity, ready to embrace the beauty of both the quiet and the chaos, knowing that every moment was a part of her unique tapestry of life. Now, let your thoughts drift away, and let the night carry you to gentle dreams. As the final morning dawned in the serene embrace of the snow-covered landscape, the world outside the cottage felt transformed, as if the night had painted everything anew. The gentle light of dawn streamed through the frost-laden windows, casting delicate patterns on the wooden floor. Evelyn stirred awake, her heart lighter than it had been when she first arrived. The tranquil atmosphere held the promise of renewal, and the soft crackle of the remaining embers in the fireplace filled the room with a comforting warmth. Evelyn stretched, taking a moment to bask in the peace that enveloped her. Memories of her time spent in the cottage flooded her mind. The laughter shared with Oliver, the stories that danced between them like the flickering flames, and the quiet moments of reflection that had allowed her spirit to unfurl. This place had become more than just a retreat. It had become a sanctuary for her soul. The scent of fresh herbal tea wafted through the air, drawing her toward the kitchen. There, Oliver stood, his silver hair catching the morning light as he prepared their last breakfast together. The kettle sang softly, harmonizing with the gentle patter of snowflakes still falling outside. Evelyn approached him, her heart brimming with gratitude. "Good morning, Oliver," she said, her voice steady yet warm. "Thank you for everything." He turned to her, his eyes twinkling like the stars that had guided her through the night.
Good morning, Evelyn. It has been a pleasure to share this time with you. The cottage has its own magic, doesn't it? As they settled around the small wooden table, the steaming mugs of tea in hand, Evelyn reflected on the insights she had gained. "I've realized something important," she began, her voice soft but resolute. "I've spent so much time chasing deadlines and responsibilities that I forgot how to simply be. This quietness, it's a gift."
Oliver nodded knowingly, his gaze encouraging. Life has a way of pulling us in many directions, but it's vital to find moments of stillness amidst the chaos. You've discovered that, and it will serve you well. They shared a comfortable silence, sipping their tea as the world outside continued to transform under the weight of the falling snow. The cottage, once a temporary shelter, now felt like a part of Evelyn's journey, a chapter that would stay with her long after she left. After breakfast, they decided to take one last walk through the snowy forest. As they stepped outside, the cold air kissed Evelyn's cheeks, invigorating her spirit. The snow crunched softly beneath their boots, creating a rhythmic melody that matched the beating of her heart. Each breath of fresh, crisp air filled her with a sense of clarity and purpose. "Do you see how the snow blankets everything? It's a reminder that sometimes we need to cover our worries and let them rest for a while," Oliver said, pointing to the way the snow transformed the familiar landscape into something ethereal. Evelyn paused to take in the beauty around her, the way the sunlight sparkled on the snow, the towering pines standing guard, and the gentle whispers of the wind. She felt a sense of acceptance wash over her. "I want to carry this feeling with me," she replied, her voice filled with determination. "I want to prioritize my well-being and create space for peace in my life." Oliver smiled, his expression warm and proud. "That is a wonderful decision, Evelyn. Remember, it's not about escaping reality, it's about embracing it with a heart full of love and understanding." As they continued their walk, they exchanged stories, laughter, and reflections, solidifying the bond formed over the past few days. Each step felt lighter, as if the burdens of her past were being left behind in the soft snow, while the seeds of hope and renewal were being planted in her heart. Eventually, they returned to the cottage, where the warmth awaited them once more. Evelyn felt a bittersweet pang knowing her time here was coming to an end. As she prepared to pack her things, Oliver handed her a small wrapped gift, a token of their shared moments. "Open it when you're ready," he said, his voice filled with kindness. Evelyn tucked the gift carefully into her bag, knowing it would hold memories of this special retreat. After one last glance around the cozy space, she turned to Oliver, gratitude shining in her eyes. "Thank you for everything, Oliver. You've helped me find clarity and peace in ways I didn't know I needed." He chuckled softly. "You found it within yourself, Evelyn. I merely provided the space for it to emerge." As she stepped outside for the final time, the sun had started to break through the clouds, illuminating the snow-covered landscape with a golden hue. Evelyn took a deep breath, feeling invigorated and renewed. The journey back to her life felt less daunting. She carried with her a promise of tranquility and self-care. Before she drove away, she waved goodbye to Oliver, who stood on the porch with a gentle smile. "Take care, Evelyn. Remember to pause and breathe." "I will," she called back, her heart swelling with warmth. "Thank you for reminding me." As she drove down the winding path, the cottage receded into the distance, but the memories lingered like the gentle scent of pine in the air. The snowflakes danced in her rearview mirror, and with each passing moment, Evelyn felt lighter, more at peace. In the days that followed, she honored her commitment to herself, carving out spaces for quiet reflection amidst her bustling life. She began to embrace small moments of rest, the warmth of her morning tea, the rustle of leaves outside her window, and the stillness of the evening sky. Each experience became a reminder of the lessons learned at the Snowfall cottage. And as the seasons changed, so did she. The once overwhelming chaos of her life gradually transformed into a harmonious rhythm, where the dance of productivity and peace coexisted beautifully. As the snow melted away, Evelyn found herself returning to the cottage in her heart, often visualizing the warmth of the fire and the wisdom shared with Oliver. The cottage had become a symbol of her journey, a reminder to always seek moments of stillness and self-compassion. Now, dear listener, as you close your eyes and let the world fade away, remember that within you lies a sanctuary. Just as Evelyn found solace in the Snowfall cottage, may you find your own peaceful refuge wherever you are. Let the gentle whispers of your thoughts guide you into a realm of dreams, where the beauty of the present moment resides. So, allow your heart to rest and let your thoughts drift away, knowing that peace is always within reach. Embrace the night and let it carry you to gentle dreams. If you enjoyed this journey, please consider leaving a like, sharing your thoughts in the comments, and subscribing for more calming stories like this one. Don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss a moment of serene storytelling. Sweet dreams await you.